The Census of the Levites by Ginzberg. Moses at the census did not take into consideration the tribe of Levi, because God had not commanded him to select a prince for this tribe as for all others. Hence, he drew the conclusion that they were not to be counted. Naturally, he was not sure of his decision in this matter, and wavered whether or not to include the Levites in the number, when God said to him, "Do not muster the tribe of Levi, nor number them among the children of Israel." At these words Moses was frightened, for he feared that his tribe was considered unworthy of being counted with the rest, and was therefore excluded by God. But God quieted him, saying, "Do not number the Levites among the children of Israel, number them separately." There were several reasons for numbering the Levites separately. God foresaw that, owing to the sin of the spies who were sent to search the land, all men who were able to go to war would perish in the wilderness. All that were numbered of them, according to their whole number, from 20 years old and upward. Now had the Levites been included in the sum total of Israel, the angel of death would have held sway over them also. Wherefore God excluded them from the census of all the tribes, that they might in the future be exempt from the punishment visited upon the others, and might enter the promised land. The Levites were furthermore the bodyguard of God, to whose care the sanctuary was entrusted, another reason for counting them separately. God in this instance conducted himself like the king who ordered one of his officers to number his legions, but added, "Number all the legions excepting only the legion that is about me." 427. The extent of God's love for Levi is evident through the command given to Moses, to number in the tribe of Levi all males from a month old and upward. Whereas in the other tribes none were numbered save men able to go to war, from 20 years and upward. Upon other occasions, God had even the embryos among the Levites numbered. This occurred upon Jacob's entrance into Egypt, when the number 70 for his family was attained only by including Jochebed, who was still in the womb, and similarly at a future time upon the return of the exiles from Babylon. For at that time only 23 of the priestly sections returned, hence to complete their number they had to include Bigvi, who belonged to the missing section, even though he was still in the womb. 428. When Moses was ordered to number among the Levites all children from a month old and upward, he said to God, "Thou biddest me count them from a month old and upward. Shall I now wander about their courts and houses, and count each child, seeing that thou givest me such a command?" But God replied, "Do thou what thou canst do, and I will do what I can do." It now came to pass that whenever Moses betook himself to a Levite tent, he found the Shekinah awaiting him, tell him exactly the number of children without his having to count them. In the choice of this tribe, God showed his preference for the seventh, for Levi was the seventh pious man, starting from Adam to wit, Adam, Noah, Enoch, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Levi. As in this instance, so in many others did God indicate his love for the seventh. He sits enthroned in the seventh heaven. Of the seven worlds, the seventh alone is inhabited by human beings. Of the early generations, the seventh was the most excellent, for it produces Enoch. Moses, seventh among the patriarch, was judged worthy of receiving the Torah. David, seventh son of Jesse, was chosen as king. In periods of time, also, the seventh was the favorite. The seventh day is the Sabbath. The seventh month, Tishri, is the month of the holy days. The seventh year is the sabbatical year of rest, and every seventh sabbatical year of rest is the year of Jubilee. 430. Another reason for numbering even the youngest boys among the Levites was that the tribe of Levi as a whole had the responsibility of atoning for the sin of the firstborn among the children of Israel. For it was these who, until the time of the worship of the golden calf, performed the services of the priesthood, and their privilege was taken from them owing to this, their sin. This prerogative was then conferred upon the tribe of Levi, who, moreover, dedicating themselves, man for man, to the service of the Lord, served as an atonement for the firstborn of Israel, that they might not be destroyed as they deserved. 431. The exchange of Levites in place of the firstborn did, however, present a difficulty. For God had communicated the number of Levites to Moses in the following way: "Their number amounts to as many as the number of my legion." For when God came down upon Sinai, 22,000 angels surrounded him, and just as many men did the Levites number. Outside of these, there were 300 firstborn among the Levites that could not well be offered in exchange for the firstborn among the other tribes, because their standing was the same as theirs. As the number of firstborn among the other tribes exceeded the number of Levites by 273, this surplus remained without actual atonement. Hence God ordered Moses to take from them 5 shekels apiece by the poll as redemption money and give it to the priests. The sum was fixed upon by God, who said, "He sold the firstborn of Rachel for 5 shekels, and for this reason shall he give as redemption money for every firstborn among ye 5 shekels." To avoid quarrels among the firstborn, as otherwise each one would try to lay the payment of redemption money upon his neighbor, Moses wrote upon 22,000 slips of paper the word Levi, and upon 273 the words 5 shekels, all of which were then thrown into an urn and mixed. Then every firstborn had to draw one of the slips. If he drew a slip with Levi, he was not obliged to remit any payment, but if he drew 5 shekels, he had to pay that sum to the priests, 432.